to double the patients, because now there are about 850. If you walked in right now, about 850 patients. That is too little compared to the 30% of Ugandans that need treatment. First of all, we have that gap there. But anyway, let's start with the basics. How would you describe mental health to someone, and how would you identify mental illness in an individual?
Okay. Now, you see why there has been confusion even in our communities. When we talk about mental health, people think that you're talking about mental illness. Now, when we talk about mental health, we're looking at the overall well-being that enables each one of us to be able to work well, to learn well, to be able to manage our stress on a daily basis, to be able to, realize our abilities and contribute to the community. That is mental health. In fact, you are here because of mental health.
I believe.
You are working because of your mental health. You are doing whatever you're able to do because of your mental health. Now the opposite is true. Now when mental illness comes, your ability is tampered with. Your ability is paralyzed. You cannot do anything much because you cannot manage yourself well. Things begin to fall apart. You can't not work well. You can't learn well. You have you can't contribute that much because everything around is affected, because your thought is affected, your mood is affected, and your behavior also is affected. So now when mental illness comes in, it affects. That's why we are trying to promote mental health, because it is from mental health that people are able to work well, learn well, manage their stress on a daily basis, realize their abilities and potentials, and contribute to the community. That's where Uganda will be if everyone is healthy. But then also I want also to say this: there is no health without mental health. So when we talk about these issues, we are trying to help people to understand that, hey, all of us, now when you look at the dynamics around mental illness and mental health, you realize that most of the challenges that people face are psychological problems that we face on a daily basis. Some of these are environmental issues. Some of these, of course, they are inborn, they are neurological, they are developmental challenges that people have. But then when you look at it overall, you realize that most of these challenges that we go through are what triggers the breakdowns in our brains, the breakdown in our minds, and things begin to fall apart. However, help is available. Treatment is there, recovery is possible.
Before we go to recovery and treatment, let's look at, because I believe not all mental illnesses are the same. In fact, if you look at case in point, Hutarika, the cases they receive are very different. Somebody is an alcoholic, the other is depressed. Very different issues. The other has actually some mental sickness this time around. So what are the types? How would you describe the types of mental illness for a layman out there to understand?
Good. Now, there are so many different types, which I also try to put here because people need to be informed, people need to be aware of these issues. Now, there are so many different types of mental illnesses. We have depression. Depression is a form of mental illness where it is triggered by sadness. Where this sadness does not go away and it begins to paralyze everything around you and it affects how you operate. Now, this depression is where something makes you sad. Whatever it is makes you sad, and then this sadness begins to interfere with your day-to-day life. Now we have anxiety disorders, we have stress, we have post-traumatic stress disorders. For example, if you went through some trauma some years back, but then you are not helped to deal with this, it can still manifest. That's why many people are battling actually trauma-related mental illnesses. Then, of course, we have schizophrenia, we have psychosis. Psychosis is where basically you live in an unreal world, where, for example, you could be broke, but then you feel you're a billionaire.
Illusion.
Yeah. So you can be then you feel you're the president of the country, Yeah, so you have this feeling that just comes, And then, of course, you have the alcohol and drug and substance use disorders. We have the developmental, emotional, and behavioral conditions. That's where we have, like I talked about, the developmental issues that affect right from how somebody's formation is right from the womb. That's why we have autisms, we have epilepsy and all that. These are inside. And then, of course, we have suicidal behaviors, the self-harm. So there are so many different types. However, like I said here, whatever it is, help is available. The problem has been so many myths around mental illness. Where it comes from, people believe where somebody has a mental illness, number one, it is because of witchcraft. Number two, in fact, how we look at mental illness in many communities is we think it is demon possession. So that is where people can quickly attribute it to.
I agree with you.
So and so is possessed by evil. In fact, in many conditions, in environment communities, they say it is evil spirit. Now, but when we help people to understand that actually, yeah, even if you have all these myths, but there is a truth here. So this is the thing. But then we are trying to also help people to understand, even if this is here, help is here. Because people think that if you have this, then the help is that, when there's no help there. That's why we're trying to create more awareness and help people to understand that, hey, help is here. You can actually get treatment. You can actually recover. And above all, life continues. There's no need for suicide. There's no need. In fact, if you see the cases right now of suicide prevalence, it's high. And suicide begins from a place where somebody feels hopeless. And this hopelessness stems from a place of depression. Because when somebody is depressed, they have depressed moods. They feel that they are worthless. They feel that they are not good enough. They feel they are useless. They feel nothing good can come. So they feel so hopeless. So, and because they feel so hopeless, then things begin to manifest in the other way around. Okay. That's why we're trying to help people that, hey, if this happens, please engage. And you know, there are people who say, I wish so and so talked, I wish so and so was able to speak this, but there is a lot of barriers to around treatment. So many barriers. That's why we're trying to also to help people to say, hey, help is here. You don't need to be in this kind of condition of barrier. First of all, we are talking from lived experiences. Personally, I've also lived in denial many times. I've shared here in the previous shows how I struggled, but I didn't accept that I was struggling. But I was struggling. And it took friends who were able to stick by me and say, please, you need help. You need help. Get help. And indeed, I was helped. And here I am today. You know, because so many of us, we go through different challenges. And that's why I try to speak. We chose to be a voice. Because we've lived these things before. Somebody will say, you don't understand what we're going through. I understand every detail because I was there myself. I know what it means to live life when there is no meaning in the life you're actually living. I've been there myself. So many times when I had many suicidal thoughts, many times, because in fact I chose to write all my stories. The first story I wrote about was the book of Overcome Rejection, where I talked about how I lived through rejection, born through it first of all, born through rejection, lived through rejection, and here I am today. Went through 8 heartbreaks, painful 8 ones, yes.
8 as in 8 heartbreaks from
1, 2, 3,
women.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yes. And these 8.
First wait. With different women?
Yes. And these 8 are without those who fired me before I proposed. And those who told me that
Andy
they will give me answer.
History, but I thought Andy there had a history, but
you know,
he has a brother here.
The 8 are without those who even told me they will give me answer, and till tomorrow the answers never come. And the 8, these 8 are serious ones where even we even visit, people know that so and so is the one. And then all of a sudden, pew, you are fired. And then you begin from ground zero. 8 times. But I'm a married man now.
So wait. This is going to change the conversation a little bit. You desired, because now we are seeing that people's desires are the ones that lead them to depression, of which we have desires. All of us have them. So you desired to be married. That was your...
In fact, I wanted to marry at the age of 25. Because my math was, when I'm 50, I don't want to go for speech days. Yeah. So I wanted to, but at least when I'm 50, at least I should have some grown-up boys. Teenagers going to 20s and all that. That was my math. but it never worked.
So 8 times you proposed to a girl and she said no.
The first say yes, to the extent you even go and visit.
Now
Then
that is-
after there,
that's the problem now.
are you aware that my wedding was cancelled 3 days to the wedding? We had to postpone.
Because
So,
people are going through
These stories
the
are
same
there.
thing.
That's why we chose to be avoided, because these are issues that actually trigger breakdown. These are issues that trigger depression. These are issues that trigger hopelessness. I have been broke and broken. Another book is called Broke by Choice. In this book of Broke by Choice, I shared the experiences of how we made choices, but then these choices backfired. Do you know how it feels when your 100% salary is taken to cover loan for 3.5 years?
I think I can understand what it
And
means.
you are in this state, you are working, but then every month the salary lands and it is taken by this financial institution, and 100% of it, and then you remain with zero for 3.5 years, and you are a married man.
And your wife stayed? Because we are
Yes.
seeing stories, men are depressed because their women are leaving because they are not able to support them financially. These are the reasons. And people end up
she's
killing
still
themselves.
living, and she's there. I have seen life. In fact, if you see the book of The Art of Dating and Courtship, I talked about how somebody can now lay a strong foundation for their marriage, but using my 8 failed relationships. How somebody needs to go through the art of dating and the courtship. Because sometimes now, because of crisis that we go through, when you are fired here, before even you heal, you jump into another, and then you will be bleeding on somebody who never cut you.
Nice.
That's why we are trying to help people that if you have ever had a heartbreak, for instance, and you've gone through that state. Of course, when it happens, there is a shock, there is denial, there's depression, there is a bitterness, and then finally there is acceptance. It is until somebody accepts that, okay, this is what happened, they can't move on. But through it all, through that curve, somebody has to sink into depression. Somebody sinks into loneliness. That's why actually majority of our young people now, we take very good photos with nice filters, but when we are bleeding. Why? Because things are not working the way we expect. And besides, depression comes from 2 things. Now I want to cite for you something here. In the Bible, which I believe in, Proverbs 13 verse 12 says, anxiety in the heart of man causes depression, but a good word makes it glad. Now, where does this anxiety come from? In most cases, this anxiety comes from still Proverbs 13 verse 12. Hope deferred makes the heart sick. Yeah.
Interesting.
So we've been through these issues, but above all, we are saying God is still here. I can cite for you people who even went through depression in the Bible, and God came through for all of them. Can I?
Please. It's a
In the
church
Bible,
house, so-
in the Bible, the first woman to have ever been recorded to have suffered depression is Hagar, after rejection from Abraham's house.
Haggai was given an instruction. Go and submit
Wait.
to your master.
Yes.
The senior wife.
After.
Don't show that you are too big more
No,
than the
wait.
wife you found.
When she was thrown out of the house, when she was bitterly rejected, thrown out of the house,
Told that
into the wilderness with a bottle of water in a desert, she saw her child die.
yeah.
In that agony, she was bitterly and totally broken.
Yes.
But God came through for her. Second woman I can cite is Hannah, because of barrenness.
Yes, very true.
Number 3, I can talk about Naomi. She lost her husband. She lost her 2 sons. She even said, change my name from Naomi to Mara, because can I go to men? Moses, leadership crisis. Moses even told God, am I the one who gave birth to all these 70 people? 70 million people. Why should they ask me for meat? Moses even became suicidal and said, God, kill me. If you are very keen and you have read your Bible, Moses never went to the promised land because of anger. And it is recorded. And anger is one of the manifestations of mental illness.
So if I'm angry and I express myself very angrily, I am quarreling all over the place, I am mentally disturbed.
Things are not working well. So that is something that needs to be addressed. Something is wrong. Now, can we continue? We have David, King David. We have Prophet Elijah. After calling fire the next day, he took off. Said, God, kill me, let me die. Prophet Jeremiah, he told God, God, you deceived me and I've been deceived. Why am I still living? Why can't I die? What is the use? Prophet Jonah. Prophet Jonah's depression came because of jealousy. That's why I always say jealousy is the last class you attend before you become a full-time witch, even in the church or wherever, workplace, wherever. Can we continue? Job.
Basically, all the Bible characters.
So, but the point here is, but God came through for all of them. That's why even the song you are singing right now, My Redeemer lives, was put down on paper by Job. Said, I know my Redeemer lives. But when it was from that place of crisis. So these are everyone we can go through at different levels. So what am I saying here? Help is always available. Help is available. And it is not that because some people say, oh, if you have mental illness, it is maybe because you have this, you're not praying enough. If you have depression, it is because maybe God is punishing you. No, God does not punish anybody with depression. No. Depression comes from two things, like I've said. Anxiety in the heart of man, which causes depression. That is from the Bible, from the biblical view, from Proverbs. Somebody can read it, New King James. But then also when you come to the reality of life, when you look at issues around the environment, when you look at issues around families, when you look at issues around workplaces, when you look at people's dreams, people's desires which are not being met, what comes next? Frustration. You have the hopes for something here, but then the thing is not coming through. You had hopes for something here, nothing is coming through. So at the end of the day, what happens? Things begin to fall apart. That's why we are saying, hey, look here, help is still available. You can still make it, life can still move. But then, where can you get the help is where the issue is.
Is this what that book I'm seeing is about?
Yeah.
Give it to me. I want to do something. I want to read something from the book and then you tell us about it.
Yeah.
Unlike some of the other treatment approaches for depression, psychodynamic therapy tends to be less focused and longer term. This approach can be useful in finding connections in past experiences and seeing how those events might contribute to feelings of depression. What were you trying to say?
I'm talking about here now, I was talking about the treatment. Treatment for depression and any other mental illness, because it works across. Now, one of the things that I was trying to focus here mostly is, number one, seek for medical treatment from a recognized medical facility. Why? Many people believe that treatment has to be in the shrine because they attribute mental illness to
evil spirits.
Evil spirits.
Or in the church.
We are saying no. This is not the thing.
I believe in the church it can be sorted.
We will come there.
Okay.
But then the point here is, when somebody is now struggling, now there are various ways of treatment. The psychological treatment is the thing. Now, from that perspective, then you need psychotherapy. This psychotherapy will be able to redirect your thoughts, redirect your mood, redirect your feelings. Because that's where we have the cognitive therapies to do with the way you think. The psychodynamic, where you are reading from, the psychodynamic deals with unresolved conflicts in your life, unresolved issues in your life. You see, Many people now, because of the crisis for depression, they first want to go to the medication. But then from the medication bit, if you take the medicine, yes, the medicine will work. Because if you're battling depression, you will be given antidepressants to manage that. But then psychotherapy will be able to unpack what has caused this. What is the deal? I want to bring you something here.
Do we have trained medics in Uganda for that?
Yes.
We see those things in movies.
No, the thing is this. People have not appreciated the work of psychologists. And this is where psychologists play a very big part. Okay? So, psychologists play the big part here in addressing these issues. And the various therapists that we have in this country, they deal with those issues. That's why we're saying, hey, look here. If your depression is at the mild stage, if you get a counselor, if you get a psychologist, you will be helped even without the medication. But then if it has gone to that extreme, you must first be put on medication to manage those symptoms. And then after that, when you sober up, then we go to discussion. What happened?
Okay.
David says something in Psalms 42. I want to quote. David says in verse 3, my tears have been my food day and night, when men continually ask, where is your God? What makes you cry is a situation in your life. Some hope which had been deferred. Something that you thought would work but never worked. Then people are mocking you because of your condition. There is a condition that has been attached with you somehow. Maybe it is a condition of barrenness, or it is a condition of being broke, or it is whatever condition it is. It makes your heart not to be okay. It makes your heart to be troubled. Before you know it, that is where you need a therapist. You need a counselor. You need a psychologist to be able to deal with that.
Group therapy generally involves anywhere from 3 to 15 people. It offers everyone the opportunity to give and receive group support in coping with their particular issues, and giving therapists the chance to observe how they interact in communities, maybe.
Yeah.
So, my question is, I've seen them in movies, like I've said. Do we have group therapy in Uganda? And what's the effect it has on my brain or on my life, in case I'm depressed, in case I'm mentally not okay? Does this group do I really need to go blabbering about my issues to other people that I don't know?
It does. Now, this is where it is. You see, people who are depressed, they choose to lock themselves in their rooms. They avoid social connections. They avoid interactions. But here, normally we encourage, even in Arua, even in West Nile, even here in Kampala, we normally encourage, have support groups. Now, like in Arua, we've been doing monthly programs where we call people who are on medications or people who are battling different mental illnesses. They come together, we share experiences, we eat together, we know how are you faring, how are you managing your medications, how are you doing this, how are you coping. It helps somebody to realize that actually I'm not alone. Number two, to know that actually treatment is possible. Here in Kampala, whenever I'm in Kampala, I don't miss some activities, especially organized by Heart to Heart chat group. In this Heart to Heart chat group, where we share from our hearts, how are you managing? How are you doing? And we do these physical meetings. Also, we also do online meetings. And these are things that we encourage. You see, what happens here when you meet in a group, when you meet in fellowships, when you discuss.
We have that group.
When you share, it helps. You know, one thing that I want also to say is, you are as sick as your deepest secrets that you keep to yourself.
Okay.
Have you ever had a pus?
A what?
A pus, like a boil under your armpit, or a boil
on my leg? Yes.
Either on your leg or yes. Now, what happens with boil, for example, if it has a pus, it pains. Yeah. Now, when you cut it, it is even more painful. Squeezing that pus, it is even painful. But then after that, what happens? When you leave that wound open, what happens? You add some antibiotics.
It dries up.
It dries up. Do you remember that you once had a pain?
Nope, absolutely not.
That's the same thing that happens here. So now when you have these group therapies, that is also part of the thing. You open up, you share, and in the process, you heal. Because, you see, do you know why most women don't commit suicide? They talk.
So that is why
more men are battling suicide issues. Why? Because the man is himself. Because we're told that you be a man. Endure the pains of life as a man. I have it here.
Men, you can always talk to me.
You see? So this is what, but then women, what happens? Even if you don't know the woman, as long as you have met in the saloon,
you start.
You start from there. How are you managing? How is this? And then you talk. By the time you finish,
you're okay.
You feel better.
Good to go to handle another round.
Exactly. So that is the thing. So that's why we encourage these support group meetings. That's why we're encouraging. Please, if you are battling whatever case, you are not alone. That's number one. You are not alone. Who is battling this? Personally, I battled it myself. That's why the stories are here. That's why I'm saying there's a hope, even in the age of depression. How to thrive amidst mental health. You can still thrive even amidst mental health challenges.
We have very many single boys here at Church of Uganda Family TV. I encourage a group. If you don't talk about these things, the issues you're facing, we might lose you. We don't want to lose you. We really do not want to lose you. And of course, this is a book written by my guest today. It's called Hope in the Age of Depression: How to Thrive Amidst Mental Health Challenges. I think it's a very beautiful copy, and you might need it because, like I mentioned, somewhere, somehow, all of us have been through depression. Personally, it came in lockdown for me, and I could not sleep. And up to now, I struggle with insomnia. But after lockdown, I don't have time to get depressed. There are people like that who don't have time to get depressed. So anyway, let's take a very short break. The discussion on mental health is very wide. We cannot exhaust it today, but we're taking a short break, coming back with treatment, therapy, recovery, relapse, a lot of things. My name is Carol, and we are powered by Protea Hotel by Marriott and Terry. We'll be back.
Issues at hand, powered by
Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Comfort and luxury at its best.
This is Church of Uganda Family TV, enriching lives.
When
people die, they are good. A dead body is always good. He has done us good. We cannot replace him. There's no one who is repressible. There's no one. But what can help you? It is to leave a good legacy that people will remember you.
Sometimes I share with my students a small story of an animal which normally is regarded to be the wisest, the hare. Once in a meeting of animals chaired by the lion, which was the king of the animals, he said that all those who are in the meeting and are not married should go out. This is for the marrieds. And then the hare put up a hand. I have a question, Mr. Chairman. Yes. What is it? He said, what about some of us who sleep like married people? Should we also go?
And may I say to those of you who are not yet married, determine what kind of family you want to raise. Because the family that you raise, the children that you get, you will either sink them or you will raise them up to be good citizens and good people in the church.
If you read Proverbs 16:1, they tell you that the plans of the heart belong to man, but the answer of the tongue is from the Lord.
Because we all need love. As long as we are humans, we need love. Now he says yes, but I'm praying that you will experience the greater love.
Family Hour, empowering families one episode at a time. Together, we build strong, healthy, and thriving families with our daily dose of inspiration and expert insights on topics that matter, like education and career growth.
A child may be a good entrepreneur, but you're forcing the child to make sure that she passes sciences in order for her to be a what? A nurse.
Family health.
No one should one day tell you that, hey, since you have diabetes, you should not take Caro. That's a lie. There's what you call portion control.
Finance and wealth.
Keep track of your spending. And part of the spending, of course, as we said, be able to separate wants from needs. That's secondly.
Leadership and governance.
There are people who take on the political aspect and try to water down important, significant decisions we leaders take for the good of this country.
Not forgetting parenting.
Now you're raising kids or children who are in a totally different time. You get it. Those days your mother would just give you an eye and you know this is a problem.
Hey, there are visitors.
And there are visitors
and
around.
Mom gives you this eye, you know?
Yes.
Catch more of this every Monday to Friday at 9 p.m.
Do you know that you can now enjoy great enriching shows anywhere through the Family TV app? Here is how to download it. Open Play Store on your phone. Search for the Family TV app. Click Install. After installing it, open it and enjoy enriching content anywhere, everywhere, anytime. Family TV, enriching lives.
This is Church of Uganda Family TV, enriching lives. Issues at hand, powered by
Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Comfort and luxury at its best.
We're glad you're still watching Church of Uganda Family TV, and I think this show has touched a number of people's lives. I am getting some feedback. Yeah, that is what mental health does. All of us have to get a piece of that cake in some way or the other. You're watching Issues at Hand. We are powered by Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. For reservations, you can call the numbers on your screen. To get into the discussion, we would like to look at symptoms of the mental illness, because there's something we must look at and not surely they are not fine. This person is not fine. And we had already mentioned a few of those. Anger, you say, and very many other things. Can you add to that?
You see, when you see a family member or yourself struggling, like I said, information is power. You need to be knowing what you are going through. If right now you have a friend, a family member, or maybe yourself, all of a sudden you've lost appetite for food, or you have too much appetite for food, there is a crisis, there's a problem that we need to start engaging in. Number two, if sleep has refused, you wake up in the night, sleep just refuses, you stay awake, there is a challenge we need to address. If anger is taking root in your life, but you don't know why you are angry, but you're just very angry, know that there is a problem. If from nowhere you just feel fatigued and you lose energy, please, there is something needs to be done. If you feel helpless and hopeless, you feel you're not good enough, you feel you're useless, you begin to have those feelings.
Some of those symptoms are pregnancy symptoms.
You know that there is a problem here. If all of a sudden you've lost interest in what you used to do, all of a sudden you just lose interest. Yeah, you used to love this, but then all of a sudden you've lost interest. There's a crisis, there's a problem. If from nowhere you choose to isolate yourself from people, you want to stay alone, you don't want people, you want to isolate yourself from others, you withdraw from people, there is a problem. If from nowhere you begin to develop this reckless behavior of maybe drug use, going to the streets, wanting to be in the streets, or these funny behaviors, reckless behavior, you're living a reckless life, to whom it may concern, all of a sudden, there is a problem. If from nowhere you just lose interest in a basic personal hygiene, you don't care anymore about whether you have showered or maybe your clothes are clean, you just show up, there's a problem. If from nowhere, somebody who has ever been very clean and neat, all of a sudden is becoming shabby, doesn't care anymore about their life, there's a problem. Where you fail to concentrate on your work, you can't concentrate, you are just restless, there is a problem. If you have unexplained body pains and body aches, you go to hospital, they test and they say there's no sickness, but you know your body is paining. It's not a witchcraft. Seek for psychiatric services, talk to somebody, engage. If you begin to have your meeting with yourself, you ask your question, you answer it, if it is funny, you laugh at it, there's a problem. If you begin to hear voices others don't hear,
then we are depressed.
You hear things within your ear.
Are depressed.
You hear things that others don't hear. You see things others don't see. Apart from seeing the vision and what God is communicating, but you are seeing strange things which are not connecting. Help, you need to seek for help. Above all, when you become suicidal, or when you see somebody who has become suicidal, somebody who is talking about killing themselves, somebody who is saying, please, I've just called to say bye, you will not see me again, I want to go and see Jesus, I want to go and do this. When somebody is preoccupied with death, please engage, don't wait. Somebody is battling these issues. But good news is here. I want you to be the one to read it for me.
Okay. In our culture, we have a saying that bad things are laughed at as those that are good. So we are not laughing because it's funny. It's just that some of us are relating to high levels. For example, I talk to myself, so I think I'm not fine and I need to... No, but I think it's just evaluation. But if you're out there and you have those signs and you have the signs that are not coordinating, like the symptoms he has mentioned, please rush quickly and make sure that you seek help. We move on to treatment and recovery because there's something that can help you out of that situation. What is it? So as we end the show, as we wrap up, we want to look at treatment and recovery. So the treatment is, so let me start from mental illness is treatable, and most people with mental illness recover to life, productive and happy lives. Wow. The treatment is different for each type of mental illness and can vary according to the individual, the severity of the illness and past history of the illness. Recovery is possible. Many people have recovered from mental illness after treatment. The main barrier to managing and treating mental health disorders is the stigma. I agree. Mental health stigma is a negative attitude or idea about a mental health feature of a person or a group of people. It relates to social disapproval of the person or group based on the mental health feature.
Now, it's clear, mental health is treatable. Issues around mental health challenges are treatable. Mental illness is treatable. That's what I want to say. And like I said here, treatment varies. There are three basic issues that I want here to help people see. Number one, you have a body, you have a soul, you have a spirit.
Okay.
Your body needs medication. Your soul needs somebody to talk to. You need a counselor, you need a psychologist.
A physical person or a spirit?
A physical person, your soul.
Okay. Because it's a soul, so I thought it would relate.
Let me explain to you here. Have you ever gone to church and then somebody preaches and then say, oh wow, I feel blessed. Oh
my dear, every single
goodness.
week.
Why? Because that person was talking to your soul.
Yeah.
Issues that is making you cry. What makes you cry day and night is to do with your soul. That's why David says, my tears have been my food day and night. Why? Issues of the soul. That's why you need a psychologist to help you address those issues and guide you.
But the man
counseling.
of God is the psychologist.
That's where I'm coming.
Okay.
The man of God plays his role there, but also you can also get a trained psychologist because not every man of God is trained in that.
Okay. Yes, I agree.
So that's where, even in this mental health awareness thing, one of the things I want to say, most of the people who are coming, actually I have some of those who are speaking, are people who have recovered, who have their testimony. Once upon a time, they were there, but God has delivered them, now they're here. I'm among those. David says in Psalms 40, I waited patiently to the Lord and he heard my cry. He picked me from the horrible pit, established my feet on a solid ground. put a new song on my mouth, a song of thanksgiving. In fact, for us here, we are coming to do thanksgiving because we are coming to see what God has done for us. Treatment, we've received treatment, we've received healing, and here we are. Recovery is possible. The barrier to recover is the issue of stigma, like I said. That's why we are calling upon family members. I want to read for you something here. In as much as treatment is there for mental illnesses, and this treatment might appear to be expensive, with far-reaching effects on the family and community, socially, financially, emotionally, and mentally, healing, recovery, and restoration are possible through family support and other support groups. I want to tell you something here. Even if you go to Butabika and receive the best treatment, as long as family support is missing, you'll relapse. That's why, you see, there are so many cases where people say, we took this one here, it didn't work. No, it worked. The problem is, how do we maintain that?
Interesting.
How do we maintain that? How do we keep it there? Because as long as there is no family support, as long as there is no other social support systems, things don't work out. That's why we are advocating for family mental health, helping families to see that actually, if families come together and support their loved ones, this person can actually recover. Number two, why we are doing community-based mental health, why we are doing workplace mental health. We are telling workplaces, look here, now you are a family at workplace. For example, now family TV staff here, you are a family of staff. So how do you support one another? How do you be a support system for one another? You know, David, even when he had a crisis in his life, you remember they wanted to kill him innocently? You remember David in the Bible? But David had a Jonathan who stood by him. If David never had a Jonathan, there will be no story about David anymore after the death of Goliath. Why? There was a Jonathan who stood by him. So that's why we are trying to advocate and say, here, look here, family support is needed. We need a teamwork. We need to support one another at place of work. Support one another at work at your family level. That's why I want to call upon everyone out there. If you know a family member, you know a workmate, you know a friend who could be struggling with the mental health crisis, or who could be struggling with the drugs and alcohol, who could be struggling with depression, who could be struggling with anxiety, who could be struggling with the panic attacks, who could be struggling with whatever it is, whichever mental illness, please support them. If it is possible, you can even encourage them to come for this book launch and Mental Health Awareness Day. But by the way, your ticket is here.
Oh, thank you so much. I will be there. These are 2 tickets.
No, this is 1 ticket.
Because I have to come with a +1. I can't come alone. Anyway,
okay. So tickets are actually available. Somebody can actually get. Somebody can get. 14th May, Tuesday. It is in the evening. After your census, after they have counted you, please at 5. If you come at 4, you will even have the luxury of enjoying some live music from 4. But if you come from 5, you will now get when it is now mixed up stuff. But we will be there. We will be able to talk, and people with lived experience will share their own experiences. They will share their own journeys. We have people from Ministry of Health who will unpack even more about mental health, mental issues, and we have the keynote speech. We have panel discussions. We have question and answers, and then we'll have the launch of the book. But above all, we want to see how do we support, how do we strengthen families, because family strengthening is critical. We need to strengthen families, because when families are strengthened, actually cases of mental illness will come down.
Say bye to the people. This has been a very wonderful show.
I want to say bye to every one of you. And just in case you want to catch up, you can still reach out on 0774 805028. I repeat, 0774 805028. You can pass by National Theatre. You can get your ticket from there, or you can reach out and then we can still be able to deliver for you your ticket. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Drileba Dratibi Daniel, for this beautiful, beautiful discussion. Guys, this is a book written, the latest, that is going to be launched on the 14th of May, written by our guest today, and it elaborates and sheds a light on very many aspects of mental health, stroke, mental illness. And I really do hope you'll get yourself a copy in case you want one. He has read his number, but you can also reach out to us at Church of Uganda Family TV on our social media platforms, and we'll be able to get to you. Now, gentlemen,
actually, others can even pick theirs from here in case.
Okay, that is fine. Gentlemen, please do not die out there. Norman Conte in transmission, Andre on camera, and each and every other person on the other side of the newsroom and production. And even if you're not staff of Church of Uganda Family TV, I am available. Please talk to me, use me. I am a very good listener. Don't die with your problems. Don't be like, let me die like a man. No. We don't want to lose you. We don't want to lose anybody to mental stress and mental illnesses. And it's possible for recovery. That is the very good news that I have for you. But also, why don't you try God? Because He's the Alpha and Omega. So you never know. Maybe all those sufferings you're going through is because you do not know the Lord. My name is Karen Waman Tumwine, and we will not be going as farther than this. It has been a very, very beautiful show. See you on Friday. Bye.
Issues at Hand, powered by
Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Comfort and luxury.